In the diagram below, ABCD is a kite with AB equal to AD and CB equal to CD. ABEF is also a kite with BA equal to BE and AF equal to EF. Angle D is 110 degrees and angle E1 is 80 degrees. Determine the size of angle B1 and angle F2. Let's start with part A. Determine the size of angle B1. Now, angle B sits over here in both kites, ABCD and ABEF, but only one kite has a diagonal. So let's make kite ABEF blue. The question tells us that BA is equal to BE. So in kite ABEF, BF is the main diagonal. So let's make it green. Angle B1 sits inside angle B. So let's make it red. Now we know that in kite ABEF, the main diagonal bisects interior angles. So we can see that angle B1 is equal to angle B2. And as our reason, we say the main diagonal of a kite bisects interior angles. But without the size of angle B, we cannot find the size of B1 or B2. We also don't have any other information about the angles in kite ABEF. So there isn't much else that can help us right now. So let's make this kite black again. We've been given two kites, ABEF and ABCD. Angle B sits in both kites. So let's make ABCD blue. The question tells us that AB is equal to AD. So let's put a small blue line on AB and on AD to show that they are equal in length. A over here is the vertex between these two equal adjacent sides. And we know that the main diagonal touches the vertices between equal sides. So in the kite ABCD, the main diagonal runs from A down to C. Please keep in mind that just because the main diagonal has not been drawn for us, it does not mean that the characteristic does not apply. So for the sake of explanation, I'm going to draw in the main diagonal from A to C. Now we can see that angle B on this side and angle D on this side are angles that lie opposite the main diagonal. Please remember that angles opposite the main diagonal will always be equal, regardless of whether the diagonal itself has been drawn or not. If you have not been given a main diagonal in the diagram, you can always draw one in. This will help you to determine which angles are bisected by the main diagonal and which angles lie opposite the main diagonal. Now we can see that in kite ABC, we now know that angle B is equal to angle D because the angles opposite the main diagonal of a kite are always equal. The question tells us that angle D is 110 degrees. So let's make a note of it down here. So you can say angle D is equal to 110 degrees. We know this is true because this has been given to us in the question. If angle B is equal to angle D, then the whole of angle B is equal to 110 degrees. So we can say angle B will be equal to 110 degrees. At the beginning of this question, we found that angle B is broken up into two equal halves, B1 and B2. And we found that angle B1 is equal to angle B2. So if angle B is 110 degrees, then B1 must be half that size. So we can see that angle B1 will be equal to 55 degrees. Before we move on, let's make our diagram black again. Let's fill in 55 degrees for angle B1 and for angle B2. Determine the size of angle F2. Now angle F2, let's make it red, lies inside angle F, which sits inside kite ABEF. So let's make the whole kite blue. Angle F only sits in angle ABEF. So we have to use this kite to find the size of angle F2. We have just found that angle B1 and B2 are 55 degrees each, which means that the whole of angle B is 110 degrees. But we also know that BF is the main diagonal, so let's make it green. We know the main diagonal bisects the interior angles, so angle B does not give us any information about the size of angle F. So what else do we know? We know that a kite is a quadrilateral, and we know that the interior angles of a kite always add up to 360 degrees. So in kite ABEF, we know that angle A plus angle B plus angle E plus angle F will give us a total of 360 degrees. And as our reason, we say that these are the interior angles of a quadrilateral. Now we can use the sizes of angles A, B, and E to find the size of angle F. We know that angle B is 110 degrees. So over here, let's make a note and we say B is equal to 110 degrees. We don't have to prove this again. We proved it in part A. So as our reason, we simply say proven above. Now we need the sizes of angle A and angle E. Remember that a question will never give you information just for the sake of it. Everything the question gives us is important and can help us to find the answers we are looking for. We know that angle D is 110 degrees, and this helped us to solve part A. But the question also tells us that angle E1 is 80 degrees, and we can see it over here. We are going to use this to help us find the size of angle E2 over here. We know that BEC is a straight line because it's the side of kite ABCD. So let's make it purple. Remember that even though we are working with quadrilaterals, we can still use the other information we've learned in this section to help us. From our previous videos, we know that the angle of a straight line is 180 degrees, which means that E2 plus E1, which we know is 80, will give us a total of 180. So we can say angle E2, the value we're looking for, plus E1, which we know is 80 degrees, gives us a total of 180 degrees. And as our reason, we say these are the angles on a straight line. Now we can solve for E2. Let's subtract 80 from both sides, and we see that angle E2 will be equal to 180 minus 80, which leaves us with 100 degrees. Now let's take the purple line out of the diagram and write in 100 degrees for the angle of E2. Now we have the size of angle B and the size of angle E. But to find the size of angle F, we still need the size of angle A. Angle E, let's make it blue. And angle A, let's make it blue as well. Both sit on opposite sides of the main diagonal BF. We have just found that angle E is 100 degrees, which means that angle A must also be equal to 100 degrees. And as our reason, we say because the angles opposite the main diagonal of a kite are equal. Now we have enough information to find the size of angle F. We know that angle A plus angle B plus angle E plus angle F will give us 360 degrees. So now we can say angle A, which we know is 100, so we can say 100 degrees, plus B, which we know is 110, 110, plus E, also 100, plus 100 degrees, plus the unknown value F is equal to 360 degrees. And now we have an equation we can use to solve for F. 100 plus 110 plus another 100 leaves us with 310 degrees, plus angle F is equal to 360 degrees. Now to get F by itself, we subtract 310 from both sides, and we can see that F will be equal to 50 degrees. Now we can use this to find the size of angle F2. So let's make some space and make a note up here that angle F is equal to 50 degrees. We know that BF is the main diagonal, so we can see that angle F1 is equal to angle F2 because the main diagonal of a kite bisects the interior angles. The main diagonal cuts angle F into two equal halves. So if angle F is 50 degrees, then angle F2 must be half of 50, which means that angle F2 will be equal to 25 degrees.